Well, hello everyone. Jacob here from Camp Kawartha during a beautiful winter's day. And last time we met, we were talking about animal tracking. And you managed to read the footprints of the beige-hatted Jacob and all the things he was doing in the snow. Well, now we're going to look at some real animal tracks so you get a chance to know what you might be looking for when you go for a walk in the forest. Remember, animal tracks are like reading a story. And once you see the story, you can figure out what that animal was doing. Maybe it was lying down, maybe it was chewing something, maybe it was running, maybe it was hopping. Well, let's start off with our first set of tracks. Just yesterday, I went for a walk right on the range area at Camp Kawartha, and I saw these tracks. Heart-shaped, walking in a nice straight line. Oh dear, what could that be? Well, the fact that it's heart-shaped tells you this animal had hooves, and that's a deer. And deer like to yard up in the wintertime. What that means is they go to an area where there's lots of evergreens, and the boughs of the evergreen hold up the snow, so there's less snow under the trees and it's easier to travel. Plus, it means it's easier to get at their food sources. Deer don't have any front teeth, so when they chew on things, they use their back teeth and they tend to rip things. So if you see places where the branch has been broken off and ripped, chances are that's where a deer has been eating. Okay, let's move on to our next set of tracks. This one also walks in a nice straight line, direct register walking, 1 foot in front of the other. And this looks something like this, 4 toes, about that far apart. Now that's a red fox. Red foxes, their tracks are a much more straight line than, let's say, a dog's track. And that's because a dog's belly is full and it has lots of energy, so its feet kind of go all over the place. Whereas a fox, it needs to conserve energy, so when it's traveling, it tends to go in a nice straight line, 1 foot in the footprint of the foot ahead, and that's a more energy efficient way to travel. Now here's another one you might see in the woods. Or anywhere, even in a field. Now remember from our last video, when the feet are together, chances are that's a hopping animal. And there are its back feet, and there it's its front feet. And you might be thinking, well, if the back feet are there and the front feet are here, it must be going this way. Well, no, because this belongs to a rabbit or a snowshoe hare. And its back is like a built-in spring. And when it hops, its back feet tend to land in front of its front feet. And rabbits tend to have their front feet offset just like this, one slightly ahead of the other. That's good to know, because another hopping animal that you might see where you're walking, especially if you live in the city, is this fella right here. And he hops too. His feet are a little wider apart. Now, same thing, the back feet land in front of the front feet, but the front feet tend to be more together. This, of course, is from a squirrel. And you'll see squirrels on the ground, especially red squirrels, chewing on pine cones. In fact, they hide big piles of pine cones in the fall, and then in the wintertime, the scales of the pine cones are all over the place. That's its midden. That's where it's eating its winter food. Let's do another set. This fella makes tracks at night. And you might remember Jacob had one big foot beside a smaller front foot. One big foot beside a smaller front foot. 5 toes on each. This belongs to a raccoon. I call that kind of walking Bigfoot, Littlefoot. Now, raccoons are stout-bodied, short-legged, so when they walk, their hind foot goes next to their front foot like that. So see if you can find those and count the number of toes, because the 5 toes is a good clue that it could be a raccoon. Skunks walk that way a bit too, but toed in, and so do porcupines. All right. Well, there's a few hints to get you started, and good luck on your tracking this winter. I hope you follow some tracks. Maybe they'll lead right to the animal itself, and you can say a warm hello from Jacob and Camp Kawartha. See you next time on Nature Note.